Hello there everyone and welcome to Corey Loses, where today we are starting a new playthrough in Empire at War using the Phoenix Rising 2.0 mod from the Steam Workshop. There's a link in the YouTube video right now, the description on the YouTube stream rather, and if you're watching the VOD version on the YouTube video. Unfortunately with Twitch, there's no description area, but whatever. So you can search for that on the Steam Workshop and Empire at War if you want to find the mod and you're currently watching on Twitch. But in addition to me being here, we also have Evil Bob the Bob.
Hello.
He is the developer of Phoenix Rising as well as a member of the Thrawn's Revenge dev team, so he's basically here to be my tactical advisor droid and tell me everything I'm doing wrong. So,
Beep boop, use tactics.
yeah, that's already more useful than anything the Empire at War advisors ever say. So, I'm not sure what we are going to play today. I figured I'd leave it up to everyone else, whether we play the Rebels or the Empire. We're not going to play the CSA. Bob, is there any suggestion for map that you have, or?
I'd say I think one of the best balanced, some of the best in terms of like economic balance at the moment is probably the outer rim maps. The mid rim and inner rim are okay as well, but Core Worlds is a bit too credit heavy, and
Okay.
Hut Space is a bit too credit light. So, and I'd go with one of the sandbox maps, and then maybe one of the outer rim maps.
Okay. So which one are the sandbox? Are you?
The top set, basically Operation Skyhook upwards. So,
Okay.
Core Worlds,
Okay. Yeah.
Inner Rim, Mid Rim, those ones.
So not like the specific campaigns. I get what you're saying now. So I guess we'll
Yeah, I need to put headers in.
do Outer Rim North. Let's do Outer Rim
That's
North.
a good one. That has a really solid CSA component to it because, of course,
Okay,
that's
cool.
their main territory.
Yeah.
So the AI should be pretty active there, hopefully.
That'll be good then. A lot of the assets that you are making for the CSA are also going to be used in Thrawn's Revenge as well. So this will sort of count as a preview for some TR stuff in some ways in that case. But let's see what people are saying for faction. Rebels, Rebels, Empire, Empire, Empire. Rebels, so we're tied there. 4-3, 4-4, 4-5. Okay, I think we're going to go for Empire. That seems...
Okay, yep, that sounds good to me.
6-5 now, asterisk. Okay. Yep, Empire. It's the internet. Empire's always going to win.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
few late rebel votes, but it looks like Empire still winning out.
All right, yeah, let's go with Empire in the north. I'll
so,
leave these on default.
Kumar's asking what period the mod is set in. This mod is primarily set. The sandbox campaigns are from 18 BBY onwards, which is basically from the creation of the New Order, the creation of the Empire onwards, and so that starts immediately after the Clone Wars. And then there's a set of historical campaigns that stretch from basically A New Hope through to Operation Skyhook. No, Operation Skyhook, Operation Shadowhand right now.
All right, in we go. It will take a little bit to load. When will TR 2.3 be out? Not for a while.
Hi, I'm poor now and may not be able to
old
enough to have a sub baby. Sad we just got old enough to have a sub baby. Sad face.
Oh, thanks, Rusty. Not sure why I heard that 7 times. But thank you. Appreciate it. And congratulations, I think.
So the first thing you might notice before we get into the intro text here is that I've now added a hints for new Phoenix Rising players option in the story objectives. So you can actually see basically the droid advisor log in one single block, so you don't have to pay attention to when the droid pops up.
That's helpful. Let's read through... I'm going to do the intro text, and then since you're here, I won't read out this whole thing, but that's definitely going to be helpful for a lot of people who haven't played the mod before, because there are a lot of changes that Phoenix Rising has. It's a lot of research-based stuff, especially, and that kind of thing. North. Social improvements offered by the New Order have been well received in key trade sectors of the Outer Rim territories. championed by the local systems of Kutrik and Yaga, imperialization of the recently captured strongholds of Felucia and Seleucami is proceeding to plan. A task force commanded by Moff Tarkin has rapidly subjugated the Mon Calamari. We must act where the Republic failed, scouring the regional sectors to source new commodities and focusing the development of emerging technologies to aid in the protection of authority and the eradication of criminals, traitors, and smugglers. In particular, it is critical that leftover battlefield debris from the recently successful assaults on separatist holdings are secured or destroyed. Special attention must be devoted to the illegal reactivation of Confederate droid technologies, and the fortress of Sy-Mirth must be destroyed. Further efforts must also be made to wipe out the problem of pirates and Hutt warlords in our sphere of influence, and the threat of Zygerian and Thalassian slavers must be eradicated. A task force at Lista Hall should be sufficient to the threat, aided by the adepts on Drummond Cast. Hurst Ramodi has also been transferred to Kutrik 4 with orders to chase down renegade Muns that have reportedly fled to the Saunon Spur. Full details of a range of newly acquired hidden assets is included in the briefing that these facilities are under orders to be at the disposal of all Inner Circle members to ensure the establishment of the Empire. They are scheduled for a full investigation of their capabilities by Lord Vader. Okay. A number of technical developments have dramatically improved the range of space-based weapons systems, while special metals allow for construction of stronger space stations. Infantry benefit from exotic medicines. Technicians are currently unable to integrate Mon Calamari shield schematics into Imperial designs. We will achieve victory if all enemy planets are conquered. Alright. So I'm going to pause quickly here.
Definitely pause. That's the first thing I would suggest to any new player of Phoenix Rising is when you start a new campaign, hit the pause button and work out because you'll probably start in a place which is empty in the map because the starting camera position is broken. So you need to look around, find your planets, and find out what you're going to start doing.
So Asterix is asking, have the heroes gotten ships? I haven't played in a while, so it is. So that is one of the things that you have changed since the last time I did a playthrough, I believe, is that heroes now do have their standard flagships.
That's correct. However, a lot of them will actually require research and upgrading before they can equip them. So, for example, you have Black Hole, Chronal. He can get his super special Black ISD, Singularity. But to get that, you need to research ISD tech, and you also need to put him at a place where you can build Star Destroyers with a level 4 shipyard. Otherwise, he can't be upgraded.
Right, so do you have the filter set up in a way that if you're paused, it'll swap it and unpause, or do you have to be actively...
I think you have to be unpaused right now.
Okay.
Which is slightly annoying, I know, but...
So it looks like our biggest ships here are just the Invincible classes. Will Palpatine have the Eclipse? I don't know if do you plan to include the Eclipse at all?
It may make a return. It was in one of the older versions of Phoenix Rising, but it's very difficult to balance in Phoenix Rising because Superstar Destroyers tend to take up the entire population cap of space combat. So it's a difficult one to determine.
All right. So it looks like we have June.
Yes, Megabolter. The hero ships do have pop cap. I've worked out how to do that using the unique space unit tag. Previously, they used the transport tag, which meant they wouldn't have a population cost, which was really broken because you could just get free Star Destroyers. But now they actually have the unique space unit tag, which means they take up population cost.
Right, what are we going to do here? I'm going to turn on these filters. That's always a good way to start.
Building under construction.
Do I have any research stations already built? That's the main question.
I'm not sure. I think you maybe, if you're very lucky, have one at Mon Calamari, but I don't think so.
Oh.
Remember, the most important thing is that you need a shipyard of the appropriate level and a research facility to perform upgrades on ships of that level. So if you have, for example, at Mon Calamari here, you have a level 1 shipyard. So if you build a research station, you'll be able to research fighters and bomber tech.
All right, so I guess I will build up Mon Calamari with the research then. And I'll get a level 2 and level 3 shipyard. How many slots am I dealing with?
Beginning construction.
Okay,
If you zoom in on the planet will tell you how many slots you have available in the right-hand box.
Station slots 8, so that should work. Do I need to put questions in the YouTube chat so Bob can see them? I'm going to be reading the Twitch chat as well, so if I see anything come up in the Twitch chat, then I'll bring it up. Don't worry about that. Alright, so those are queued up. That's probably a good place to start. Felucia with an ATTE here. Are those new, or did you just switch the model?
They are basically there's currently the Imperial Civil War model, and the basically the Empire starts off. If you look at the Imperial tech tree, you'll see that you start off with the ATT and the ATPT as your starting walkers, and you have to research the AT-AT and AT-ST.
Right. Okay, so I'm scared to unpause. You know what I can do, though? Because I really just want to look at the different filters right now. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to turn the galactic speed down for a moment. That way we can switch between the filters, and it shouldn't cause any issues with getting attacked too much. Felucia...
So yeah, most so basically if you mouse over the filters, you'll see what they filter, but they're technically off at the start.
Yeah.
So everything you can build should be visible, and anything you click will hide possible units. So for example, you've hidden the level 1 shipyard there.
I'm having a little bit of trouble telling when, like, I'm assuming that's on, then off is the slightly darker.
Yeah. So basically, when you click them, it hides units of that type. That's why it says hide show instead of show hide.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure how many times I'd hidden it before. Alright, so I think we've looked at most of our planets so far. Yaga Minor I kind of want to focus on upgrading a little bit too.
Requesting assistance.
Kreb. And... a planetary turbo laser seems like a good thing for Yaga Minor to have. If we can try to turn this into a good base for us, that'll be helpful. I'm not going to go for Mutilants, but I'm assuming that these are mostly independent forces that'd be on these planets, as opposed to just entirely unoccupied.
Yes. The vast majority of these planets will be independent, and the reason you can't tell is because they're stealthy.
Low-level base?
Or the independent, yeah, they're low-level base.
Okay.
Or there's, like, forest. Because you're in the Outer Rim, you have to do a lot of scouting. And there go your credits.
Yep. Alright, so I think that's good. I'll turn it back up to normal. That's a big part of the frame rate right there, yeah. Because I turned down the game speed just to make sure we could actually do something. And that significantly reduces the frame rate. I'm not sure why the stuff does it. Whatever.
But so one thing that I've been working on is performance. I've been working on performance a great deal. Currently, Kaine doesn't have transport, just to warn you.
Yeah. They seem to have a decent...
He has decent boosts.
Skills, so I'll just take that out and I'll let him sit on the Invincible or something. I'm going to hope that this fleet is enough for Aiden. If we can leave if it's not.
You may have noticed that I've put lovely little credit markings on your freighters, so now you know which are freighters and which are not, so you can get them out of fleets and reorganize and stuff. I have been working on performance quite a lot. The hyperspace routes in Outer Rim North are quite slow, but once you get past about the first week or two, the AI will have done its initial processing and you should see a frame rate improvement. The first kind of couple of weeks can be quite laggy because the AI has a lot to cycle through. But once it's done that, it generally smooths out a little bit.
So they said something about a raid on... Hold on, I just want to make sure. So Earth must be destroyed. Nope.
So one thing about the sandbox campaigns is that you won't be getting story missions in the same way you would in a historical campaign like Skyhook. You'll be getting random missions given to you by Tarkin, but you won't be getting specific missions to the campaign. The starting blurb is basically to guide you in having an idea of what you might want to do to start with.
All right, so we actually do have Joris, which is...
He may or may not crash the
There we
game.
go. Oh, that's...
If you use the,
I won't
if you
use
use
him
the
then.
corrupt, if you use the corrupt ability, it may or may not crash the game. I've had a lot of people report that it crashes when he's used or the Emperor uses those abilities, but it seems to be when the AI does it. I've tested it and I can't get it to crash basically, so I don't know what's going on there.
All right, I'll just be careful with that then. Can all start... So I'm not sure what you mean by that, Asterix. Okay.
So the other thing I've done very recently is overhaul tooltips for a lot of things. So heroes now have full tooltips detailing their actual bonuses. You don't have to basically look at the manual to find out what the different bonuses do. And also ground units now have tooltips to match space, so you know how much damage different weapons do on ground.
All right, so Kaine should be getting there momentarily. I'm going to assume I'm going to win and start bringing over some of these ground units.
Awaiting your orders.
Aiton has a very topical surprise in that you should be able to build Thrawn there once you get some initial buildings down.
That's helpful. Thrawn seems like a decent admiral. Grand Admiral
I've heard he's
Thrawn.
pretty good.
All right.
Again, he'll need quite a lot of research to upgrade him to actually having the Chimera, but it should be decent enough.
It's fine with me. I've got an invincible, so I can't lose anyways.
Copy that. Moving out.
Looked like the biggest ship they had here was an MC-30C. I did bring freighters, but
Barge active.
I'll just move them back a little bit.
Just the Corey way.
I like to keep my fleet together.
TIE squadron here. Reporting.
Large active.
I should note that the Invincible class is really, 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 really slow.
Awaiting command.
It does seem that way.
Heading out.
I was hoping it'd be worth Kaine being here.
I think it will be because Kaine does provide very good bonuses, but I think he has quite high motivation.
Yes, Commander.
And the politician bonus is kind of handy after you take the planet, because that means politician that increases the rate at which the planet becomes under your control.
We're here.
Because currently it takes quite a while.
Orders, sir. For the
Did I manage to miss Kaine's tooltips properly? I think it looks like I managed to miss Kaine's tooltip.
Star Cruiser here.
Well, the good thing about this, even though it's slow, is that because there's no station, the AI is going to come and attack us anyways.
Star Cruiser
So
Yep.
it's not
affirmative.
it's not a problem. Is this Thrawn's Revenge or Racing? Really? This is Phoenix Rising. So neither.
Enemies in range. Where'd he go?
All right.
It's a bit earlier than both Age of the Awakening of the Rebellion and Thrawn's Revenge.
Go after the Skywers. Taking fire.
Yeah, this scenario in particular seems to be starting like
Incoming.
within probably 2 years of the Clone Wars.
Immediately after. In fact,
Immediately?
18 yeah, because the Clone Wars end in like 17 point something BBY, and this is 18 BBY. You're still using Clone Wars equipment for the most part to
Right.
start with. You've only just like the Stormtrooper Corps has been formed and the Army Trooper Corps has been formed, and that's about it.
Acquiring target. Awaiting
I mean, who doesn't like the Clone Wars? So,
TIE squadron.
Yeah, I mean you've got an Architens. The Architens is actually pretty good as a picket ship in the early game. And the Invincible does come with a hell of a lot of fighters.
Guns at the ready. Cannons armed.
And watch out for those Bell Labs though; they have really, really good,
Ready for battle.
really good assault missiles.
I copy.
hmm.
Cruiser here.
All right, you guys go over there.
Frequency open.
You come up there.
Reporting.
Starting to lose our shields a little bit.
Coming around. Roger that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the problem with the Mark 1 Invincible is that it literally only has like some of the weakest turbo lasers you can have and some rapid lasers, and that's it. So it can kill fighters pretty easily, but not much
Roger that.
else.
Confirmed. Ready for action. Powering up. Ready. Thrusters at maximum.
Well, the Architect seems to be doing a good amount of damage to those.
Standing by.
Start bringing the CR90s forward. You can park there.
Weapons ready.
Yeah, CR90s are in Phoenix Rising are not like CR90s in most mods. In most mods, they're primarily anti-fighter.
They have the turbo laser outfit here.
Underway.
Yes, so here they have dual turbo lasers, and they tend to actually be quite good at dealing with enemy corvettes and enemy frigates, if you keep them at range. And then they have a small amount of anti-fighter capability.
Commencing.
Mostly hoping they'll take care of the YT raiders here.
Oh yeah, they'll do. Yeah, again, their lasers are pretty good against transports.
Open fire.
Alright, now we gotta get up to that MC-30 before it kills everything.
Form up. Attack. Weapons online. Enemies throttle at full. Awaiting orders.
And you guys head over there as well.
Reporting. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it turns out early Invincibles are not so invincible.
I feel misled. I'll get them all upgraded and then everything will be fine.
Copy. Moving out.
Life will be good, and they will be invincible. I don't think it's gonna die here. That's what I'm telling myself. We should be able to focus. Yeah, we're good.
Keep your eyes open.
Everything's good.
Attack that target.
We're all fine here.
The Arc-10s can handle the MC.
Star cruiser here.
At least it soaked up all the damage.
I copy.
Didn't lose anything else.
Fire.
We are victorious.
Yeah, I'm actually working on the actual invincible model, and then I'm sure that'll make it into PR as well.
I can't wait to have to rig the 300 hardpoints onto it or whatever.
Not my fault. I'm just here to do
I
the art,
know.
man.
Yeah, and thankfully in Thrawn's Revenge you don't have to put quite so many hardpoints on it.
Alright, let's go in and hopefully not explode. This is the Outer Rim North, Texas. I mean, see, and it's just really just not the ship it's supposed to be. So,
Okay, so I will mention on, I believe on Aiton, you may have some troubles with infantry because I'm pretty sure it has a caustic atmosphere. So your infantry might slowly take damage unless you put them in a transport or a bunker.
Right away, sir.
That's okay. You've got Juggernauts, which I've also recently redone the model for. It hasn't been updated yet in the mod because I need to rig it and animate it, but eventually.
Need something?
okay, y'all can get into your transports.
Reinforcement point contested. Weapons loaded.
Juggernaut ready.
Need someone taken out? Give me a target. Where's the job?
Why are these stormtroopers boba?
Armored transport
They're clone troopers.
ready.
Right.
Because, again, you've only just started the Stormtrooper Corps, so pretty much all your starting infantry are clones. Especially in the Outer Rim, where the Outer Rim sieges have just finished.
Commencing attack.
For some reason, I forgot Boba was a clone.
Acknowledged.
He just seemed like his own person.
Moving to attack. Destination set.
There
Alright.
are just hundreds of Tamara Morrisons.
Armed and ready. Proceeding.
Suppressive fire.
If he was getting paid per character in those movies, he probably
Moving
made...
out.
We'll cover you.
Those would be some royalties.
What are your orders? As you wish. Right away. Copy that.
Oh god.
Out. Going. En route.
T-Force.
Oh yeah, there are T4s because they're in. We've kind of retconned them to be modified mining vehicles, and since Aiton 2 is a mining planet, the miners decided that they needed some defenses.
Well, time to kill some miners.
Keep going.
Covering fire.
I'm assuming they're not super heavily upgraded T4s.
Well, if you mouse over, they should be just T4s. I
T4A,
believe.
yeah.
Awaiting orders.
But I do want to make sure we're
This way.
not split up when we're attacking them.
Yeah, the mass drivers on the ATAPs have really good range, so you can keep them quite far back if you want.
Copy. Over there.
Okay, Juggernauts go up this way.
Attack!
Copy.
I copy.
I'll actually keep one of them there.
Reporting.
You three are going to finish off these infantry, though.
Your orders? Engaging target. Roger that. We'll lead the assault.
Yes, sir. Fire! Transport here.
Warm
All right, good work, little guys. 2 left.
Transport ready.
Juggernaut, just worry about the infantry.
Unit destroyed. Destination set. Proceeding. On my way.
Awaiting orders. Attack
I'm very happy
vectors
with how
are engaged.
the land icons for the infantry worked out in the end. I think they really
Yeah.
help. They help a lot with playability and make the battlefield much clearer.
Yeah, I can see where everything is, which is helpful.
The cannon is locked on the enemy. Fire!
When vehicles are so big, you can't miss those. But the infantry really are tiny, and especially when they're
Yeah.
camouflaged, they just literally just disappear. So
Attack that target. As you wish.
Yeah, there's just one of those left. We can
Systems operational.
move on into here.
Yes, Commander.
And I'm actually going to drop these stormtroopers out.
Armed and ready. Copy that. Attacking target.
Where am I needed?
Heading out.
Reporting.
Reporting.
Orders understood.
Reporting in.
Do they have... I don't think they have any structures.
Yes, Commander. We are ready and waiting.
probably not. There might be a mining facility somewhere in the top left corner. This is, I believe, the original vanilla map frame. So
Yeah.
What are your orders?
Oh, there we go. We can see everything. My favorite part of Empire at War.
At your command.
when the enemy gives up,
Awaiting orders. Copy.
Ready. Attack! Attack! Attack!
I copy.
the only thing I need to do is
Reporting. Attacking.
when there's because the way the icons are done currently, things like clone troopers are always white, which is kind of
Yes, sir.
confusing when you own the clone troopers yourself. So I need to set up different versions of the squad container
Right.
to show different colors.
Blow them away. Firing. En route.
Okay, last vehicle, and then 8 is ours. Does online skirmish work for this? And if it does, any thoughts on giving you a match in it? Yeah, skirmish is actually really well developed in this mod. I'm sure at some point I'll do a community match with it.
Yeah, it's quite a lot slower paced than
Yeah.
the normal skirmish, but it's definitely doable. It's slightly crashier in some cases because we have a lot of automated abilities, which can cause desyncs a bit more readily. But for 1v1s and 2v2s, I think it's pretty safe.
Yeah, I was thinking it would probably be a better thing for us to do if we got some like TR devs and did a skirmish match that way rather than trying to do a community match in it. Because if anyone was at the last set of community matches we tried, it's a bit less reliable because people tend to have more variant system strength and connection strength, so it's not always the smoothest thing in the world. But I'm going to get my money makers out of here. They should realistically just stay at
On our
Yagamaru.
way.
And I'm going to turn you into a mining facility. It's thematic.
I recently greatly increased the cost of mining facilities because they were previously only 500 credits, which was insanely powerful when you built them on a mining 5 planet like Aiton, and they were giving 3,200 a week.
Hmm. It'd be great to have GC multiplayer though. I've seen one mod pull it off. We have it in TR now. It basically, the problem with multiplayer Galactic Conquest is you can't do any story scripting. So mods that don't really change much, that are just like unit compilation mods, it's a lot easier for them to have it. And if the mod does a lot of stuff with story scripting, which involves a lot more than you'd think, then it becomes a lot harder to make the mod compatible with multiplayer.
Yeah, it's basically impossible for Phoenix Rising because our entire tech system relies on story scripting.
Yeah. Like the air system in TR, all the tech in PR, the filters that both mods use to have their build bars be usable. So when we did multiplayer for Thrawn's Revenge, we basically had to take the map and then strip out almost all the work we've done over the last 12 years. So it's
Station ready.
not fantastic. Multiplayer in Empire at War is not.
It basically just ends up being rebalanced vanilla
Yeah.
with different units. It's like a unit pack for vanilla at the end,
Station
which
ready.
is like, it's all right. You know, some of the design decisions that different mods have made can improve Empire at War GC mode for multiplayer significantly, but there's only so much we can do on that side, unfortunately.
Yeah. And there's some mods that are literally just add units to the game,
Cruiser here.
and that works fine for multiplayer.
And they can be okay mods. It's just they have to be carefully balanced.
Usually not. Is this the current version on Steam? Yeah, this is what I'm playing right now. Is the Steam Workshop version. I didn't ask for any special favors here.
I forget what Kreb gets at second level. He might get a better TIE Fighter squadron.
Let's find out. I guess I should read the tooltips when I click on stuff.
Please read the tooltips. Nobody reads the tooltips.
I like to jump into
detailed
things.
tooltips.
Does his height change? Is he still going to be 1.8 meters when he's
Yes,
level 1?
yes,
Okay, so...
yes. He's not going to grow up.
Oh, mission log upgrade.
We strive to remove all traces of treachery and rebellion from our galaxy.
I'm just the target for a cleansing. Oh, God. So imperial. Conquer the specified planet from the pirates and more units will join our cause. So Taurus, and we'll get 5 IPVs.
Oh man, that's the saddest. That is like the saddest reward option.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled with that. Anyways, Kreb. He's getting plus 10% defense, minus 10% ability recharge time. It's a TIE Fighter X3 with 11 wings.
So he gets a whole TIE Fighter squadron, basically.
Those do these tooltips represent the difference between, like, is it plus 10 on top of whatever he had before, or is it going from 7.5 to 10?
It goes from 7.5 to 10. So for heroes, I haven't gone and made them differential yet. But for space units, they're now research tooltips are now differential. So when you do an upgrade for a spaceship, you'll be able to see how much has changed. You'll only basically, instead of showing you every line, it'll just show you the lines that have changed. So you'll know that, for example, the speed has increased or the weapons have changed, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. With this, we'll have a whole triangle over here. I'm kind of thinking we're going to focus on getting this area.
Rebuild the pentastar alignment.
Yeah. Oh, if I get 5 IPVs for taking Terrace, do I get 4 for taking Eris? No? Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. That's good. Oh no. I might not be properly equipped for this.
I'm going to say no.
Star Cruiser standing by. Certainly.
I'll have to use tactics.
Circling around.
Sometimes
To eliminate
retreat
the
is a
enemy force.
viable option. It allows you to
Nope.
recuperate.
I think there will be a point at which you'll just abandon Empire at War modding and make your own
There
game.
they are. Blast them.
I mean, there are a bunch of TR devs who want to do that. Not the abandon EAW part, but eventually when we're
Fires at .06.
more satisfied with what we're doing, figure out a way to do that.
The unfortunate part of making your own game is the upfront money you need usually.
Moving into that area.
Yeah, it's well, we've got a few licenses we can use. Like for Mod of the Year a few years ago, we got an Unreal 3 license right before it became open source. So that was nice of them.
Wow, that's very helpful.
And I don't think you'd want to do your own game because you're gonna work as an astrologer. So
Falling out of formation.
I'm just making a small list of things to punch you on the arm for when I go to Canada.
is there more than one? I figured it would just be
There is
that.
now.
What was there before?
Well, that terrible joke.
So it's all just come from this. Okay. If it makes you feel better, the stream dropped by like 10 viewers.
Copy. Attacking.
Alright, so we whittled down their forces already. No one had any
Yeah, it looks
faith
like
that I
that-
could win.
Their commander threw his life away.
He's brave. I'll give him that.
So one of the other things I did is fix it so that independent commanders actually have a ship, so they actually show up in space combat instead of just being a random dude on land, unable to do anything useful, which is their previous state.
Captain Hindsight.
On the way. Arming
They
weapons.
should have played a different way.
Reporting.
I will say you probably can't whittle down the starbase.
Whittle
Like
it
Space Colony.
down.
It's going to take a lot of work.
Yes, sir.
If you get into its blind spot, you could probably do it eventually. It's just going to take a lot of fast forwarding.
Is the blind spot the flat spot, or...
Yes.
Okay.
Firing.
However, that icon, as with most map
Is-
icons,
yeah.
is
Awaiting
not rotated
instructions.
correctly. So it's like 90 or 180 degrees off. So you either have to go to the top of it, or either to the right-hand side of it, or the bottom, I think, on this map.
We'll figure it out. You know what? I have
All online. Ready. Let's go.
I have fighters. They can figure that out.
Reporting in.
Yeah. The Invincible does have
Copy that.
a decent fighter complement.
Affirmative. Enemies in range.
If I can just take out all the
Awaiting command.
ships like this.
Initiating attack. Weapons online. Enemies incoming. Attack.
Just look at all the money. we're
Bayonets are
making.
actually quite dangerous. They have quite good lasers.
Yeah, I can see the Architens was losing
Armed.
shields.
Reporting.
Oh, there's a bulk freighter, cruiser, thingy.
Awaiting command. Open fire.
Will you make mines have a militant
fighters.
group attached to them because of the rating? And with that, you've kind of just got to stock some people there, I figure. I mean, if we ever did do our own game, it wouldn't be Star Wars. Oh god, there's stuff here. Which,
Oh dear, they have an interdictor as well. You might want to kill that.
no.
Star cruiser standing by.
This Pentastar alignment job is looking worse and worse all the time.
Cruiser here.
No, it's fine.
To attack.
Architens has already healed itself back up.
Fire at will.
Open fire.
Keep it
I'm
going.
gonna get my CR-90s to take out the assault shuttles and light transports and shit.
Target.
Yeah, they can do a lot of damage in large numbers.
Frequency open. Attack.
Okay, let's take out the bayonet now.
Attacking.
If this is anything like Smash, then Bayonet's going to be really powerful. It's a Bayonetta joke, everyone. Nintendo games.
I copy. Keep going.
You're all very welcome.
Coming around. Roger that.
It's a shame it's not nighttime here, then I could turn my mic at the window and you could hear the crickets chirping.
That's rude.
Reporting.
So rude.
Ready. On my way.
Yes, sir. Attacking target.
Reporting. Targeting.
Okay, we seem to have wiped out most of their stuff. I'm happy.
Open fire. At your command.
You guys keep shooting backwards, because these assault shuttles are scaring me.
Yes, Commander.
I think we've lost our Z95s. So if Corey
Oh,
gets Kaine killed,
no.
does that F up the entire Star Wars Legends timeline? A little bit, but it'll be a new Kaine. Gonna give him the Kaine.
I've got them in my sights. I'm on them.
Suddenly, Command and Conquer.
Kaine's Wrath.
Target locked. Ready for action.
Wrath of Kaine. Is that like a
Attacking.
Star Trek crossover with Command and Conquer?
Awaiting orders. Attack that target.
That would be
Awaiting
pretty
instructions.
weird.
Ready. Commander, they're Firing.
I mean, they're both pretty campy, so it would kind of work, but
Yeah, the acting between TNG and the FMVs from Command and Conquer probably not too different. It's just Kaine doing that thing that Riker always did when he was sitting in a chair, weirdly lifting his leg
Yeah.
over it.
Range. Copy.
That's like the only
Like
thing I
that
remember
thrust.
about
Attacking target. Reporting in.
that show.
Squadron here.
Standing by.
There you go. Now you can leave if you want. So that's
Nope.
kind of helpful.
Tires reporting.
No retreat.
Course set.
Stick it out to the bitter end. This is going to be a long battle.
Right away.
I'm just thinking of your viewers. But I mean, if you're thinking of metrics in terms of video length, I completely understand.
I can edit it down to whatever I want afterwards.
Copy that.
Editing?
I copy, sir.
Yakety sacks.
Targeting.
That's why it was invented.
Moving. Engaging.
Doesn't really help the live stream much,
She's incoming.
but if you can all just like put it on the background right now, it'll be shorter for the actual edited version. But have you tried out the new version of the NJO mod? I've only played the one that I played on the channel. I haven't played the version that's been put on the
Ready for
workshop since, but I'm sure at some point I'll revisit that. Most of the EAW I play, you guys see on the channel, especially in terms of other mods. With TR, there's obviously a lot of testing I do outside of that, but
Yes, Commander. Attack. Roger that. Corvette moving out. Heading out. Firing. Standing by.
Alright.
Heading
threats neutralized.
eliminating target. Target locked.
We make it so you can upgrade the older ship. Okay. You already got that one.
Tire squadron standing.
Yeah, so
Star Cruiser here.
a lot of what's changed in Phoenix Rising over the past year or so has primarily been to improve performance, because if you can believe it, it's maybe hard to believe. Some people may find this hard to believe, but Phoenix Rising used to perform even worse because fighters used to have 8 upgrades, freighters used to have 8 upgrades, and corvettes would have 6, that kind of thing, which was clearly too much.
Form up.
So
Waiting orders.
I've cut the majority of them down to 4, which still preserves the
Let's move out.
Go after the straggler.
whole
Let's
point
go.
of the mod, really, and but also greatly increases performance.
Ready.
Waiting orders. XLA Storms is asking, can you upgrade individual ships or just characters? Yes, ships can be upgraded once Corey finally gets back to Galactic View and finishes building a research facility. You can upgrade ships to you can upgrade ships, not individual ships as you have them, but you can upgrade classes of ships so that you can build new versions. So, for example, as the Empire, you can upgrade your TIE fighters up to X5, I think. You can upgrade Star Destroyers and so on. Past a lot of what we do in Phoenix Rising is speculative. So there's upgrades. If you really love a certain unit, you can upgrade it past its canon level and end up with a much more powerful unit that's valid through to the late game.
So if I were to upgrade, for example, the research for the Invincible, would that only upgrade the Invincibles that I build afterwards, or would that also improve the one that I have now? So does it replace the existing ones?
Currently, it would only upgrade the new ones you build. Currently, the Empire doesn't get Invincibles either, so you wouldn't be able to. They're just starting units for the Empire. But as the CSA, you can upgrade Invincibles. But you would need to build new ones if you wanted the upgraded versions. We don't have a retrofit capability in the mod yet, but that could be something I could do, because I guess the best way to do that, to not require unit variants, would be to have the upgrade cost a hell of a lot more. Then when the upgrade completes, it triggers lure that immediately replaces all of the old variants with new variants.
Yes, Commander.
That would be hell, but it would be possible.
Right away.
Laser power. Oh, you guys gotta get rid of there.
Yes, Commander.
You guys gotta get rid of there as well.
Standing by. Star
Yes,
Cruiser.
as Anzac Kiwi Asterisk says, you really need to stack shipyards. In Phoenix Rising, you have to be very careful about building up the correct set of shipyards and ground structures to get the best out of your production and the most production for your money, basically. Because you'll find that you have a lot of credits, but ships also cost a lot of credits and they take a long time to build. So you really want to try and stack those shipyards up.
Roger that.
Hey there, Juzzle. He's asking, does this mean we're getting closer to the full release of 2.0?
Currently on my private GitHub tracker where I keep track of issues, there's currently
Awaiting orders.
we're at about 70% complete on all the stuff that needs to be done for what I would consider a full 2.0 release. So yes, we're getting there.
Would you consider changing that to 3.0 at that point? For an additional 1.0?
Yes, sir. Commence attack.
Tempting, but I'm not sure it'll give me the workshop coverage that I need to really push the mod higher up on the rankings.
I copy. Firing.
You just gotta put the title in all caps. With the 1 credit, 1
To that area.
Phoenix Rising 1 credit, 1 second mod.
Reporting.
And yeah, Megabalti, you're correct. The one of the issues that I still haven't finished, that I will probably do now that the Blender Exporter is a bit more up to date, is that I need to adjust the origin point of space stations so that they actually sit inside the mesh, because they have the stupid donut shape, which means that missiles just kind of do a nice little dance in the middle of the starbase sometimes.
Move out.
Alright, so no one had any faith in me,
Yes, sir.
but we have finished the battle essentially.
Yes, Commander.
And
Wow,
at like
I'm-
46 minutes into the recording, which is
Fallout.
like perfect episode length. So it's perfect on all fronts.
I'm actually pretty impressed, I guess, because I did actually reduce the health of independent space colonies by 50%, I think it was, to make the grind a bit less grindy. So
Ready.
you've got to treat Phoenix Rising a bit like a JRPG, and you've got to level up your party repeatedly, and then just fight your way through a bunch of like little annoying fights until you get to the big juicy ones with the actual enemy factions. So it should
Why?
be perfect for you, Corey.
Heading out.
I'm not gonna think too much about what you mean by that.
Constructing.
I am gonna build an acclimator though. And a Carrick. So wait, hold on. Are you the Carricks that have turbo laser lasers? Perfect. No ion cannons yet. I'm assuming that's one of the upgrades, or is it treated as a separate?
The Carracks don't get ion cannons at all currently. I'm possibly going to change that to make them a little more versatile, but they're currently excellent support ships. They can just sit back with those heavy turbo lasers and fire off as they like.